to our training session on understanding differences between the supplier safety data sheet and your safety data sheet. So this is a hot topic at present, as every company wants the safety data sheets to be as accurate as possible. However, it's not always so simple, and that's due to suppliers not wanting to declare the exact percentages of components. Natural complex substances such as oils might not have exactly the same composition, and hazard classification may be different. So there are a number of factors which could influence the information that appears on your safety data sheet. Okay, so we're going to have a look at supplier documents, adding a raw material, item analysis, and resolving safety data sheet differences. So we're going to look at suppliers' documentation and how we input mixtures into Formpak without knowing 100% of the component parts, and a general process to follow using the item analysis, and then resolving safety data sheet queries and differences. And then at the end, we can discuss any questions that you might have. Okay, so if we have a look at our suppliers' safety data sheet, look at this. So it's from Cloud9 Fragrance. It's called Orange Twist, and we can see it's got a product identifier. And then if we scroll down, we can see in section 3, okay, that it has the regulatory components. So it has the hazardous regulatory components listed in a banded concentration amount. And we can see that the mixture is classified as H315, so SCI2, H317, SS1, H319, EDI2, and H412, EHC3. And also we can see that it triggers the exclamation pictogram. Okay, so if we have a look at our supplier's allergen certificate, okay, this gives us a bit more information. So we can see we've got some physical components here. We've got the orange oil, and it gives us the exact concentration of the raw materials. So we can see from the allergen declaration the orange oil contained within the formulation. So this is first thing that we will add, because it'll probably contain other listed allergens as well. So if we go into Formpak, okay, and we want to add this information into Formpak to generate our own safety data sheet. So we add the component as a raw material, and the reason is we don't know 100% of the component parts of the mixture, and if we add as a formulation, we would need to know 100% of the concentration, just due to the way the mixture is calculated. So let's navigate to add a new raw material. Okay. And then we're going to give our raw material a name. So compliant SDS. And it's going to be a fragrance raw material. It's just going to be a manual item code sequence for this purpose. And it's going to be compliant SDS. Okay, we click OK. And then we're just going to click Save. And then this gives us the option to add a composition to this raw material. So we're just going to select that. And then this takes us into the CDT, or composition design tool. So now we add the orange oil from our supplier allergen declaration. So if we have a look at it, we can see that it's in there at 5.7292%. So if we just copy that and then go back into Formpak, okay. So you can start typing the name of the item, or you can start typing the CAS number or the EC number, and the system will bring up a list of choices that you can select from. Just click Deep Search. Okay, and I'm going to select Orange Oil Bitter. Okay, and to paste the concentration amount in there. Okay, So if the material isn't present in your system, you can add the material as a new raw material. You just input the CAS number and EC number and chemical name and the relevant hazards. And if you can get any additional information from other sources such as ECHA, then that's fine. And the CLP regulation requires all available data or information must be considered for the purposes of the classification. Okay, so now we select Calculate Now, just to calculate the properties. Okay, and then we're going to use the item analysis report. So it's Other Menus and select Item Analysis. Okay, and the report that we're looking for is Item Regulatory Components with Property Report. So if we have a look for Item Regulatory Components with Property Report, is this one. Okay, and our property is going to be AGN-all. So we want to look for all the allergens in this material. So AGN-all. There we are. Okay, and then select Print. So this is going to display all the allergens that are present in the orange oil for us. Okay. Okay, so we can see all the listed allergens that are present. And then if we compare this to our supplier's allergen, okay, and then let's just have a look and comparing the two of them. Okay, so we can see all the allergens that are listed on our supplier's allergen declaration are listed on our allergen report. There's only one substance there that's not listed, and that's cinnamonaldehyde. So we know that we need to add cinnamonaldehyde to our composition. Okay, so if we go back into Formpak, get rid of this. Okay, and then we know we need to add cinnamonaldehyde now. So we just click Add. Okay, and we can either start typing cinnamonaldehyde. Go, there it is. Okay, and from allergen, we can see that it is .10. There we go, 10.4167 concentration amount. Okay, so now we've added that, we want to have a look at our supplier's IFRA certificate. So if we have a look at the IFRA certificate and scroll down, okay, we can see that the IFRA certificate contains bigaptin, and bigaptin's usually present from natural complex substances, so essential oils, and we've already added the cinnamonaldehyde to the orange oil, to the mixture, and we've already got the orange oil. So if we go back into Formpak, okay, so because we've added the orange oil, let's check inside it to see whether we've already got bigaptin present. So if we just go to View, okay, and View Composition, okay, we can't see it there, but that obviously might be a regulatory raw material. So what we'd need to do is go into Item Analysis, okay, and then have a look for the IFRA contribution by component report. So IFRA 49 hazard contribution by component report. Okay, and this will give us a breakdown of the actual IFRA components. Okay, and then we just click print. Yes, we do, because we've not added a flashpoint or recommended uses. Okay, so we can see from this report that the mixture contains cinnamonaldehyde that we've added, and also it contains gaptin as well. So the orange oil does contain bergaptin, so we don't need to add that because it's already present. Okay, so if we have a look at our supplier's SDS now and see what else that we need to add. Okay, so if we scroll down section 3, so we've added the cinnamonaldehyde, we've got the D-limonene because it was an allergen and it was contained within the orange oil. Okay, and myrcene, so we don't know whether that's actually present or not from the orange oil. So if we go back into Formpak and have just a little look at our composition, we can see that the myrcene's present. Okay. And then on our SDS, we can see that the only material that we've not got is this one, so which is fixolide. So we need to add this to our mixture, and we haven't got a specific concentration amount for it, so we'll just add it at the top end, which is 5%. Okay, so let's go back into Formpak and click add, and then add in fixolide. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to save it and check it in and have a look at our safety data sheet that we've generated. So print a document for an item. Okay, it's going to be safety data sheet, and we're going to print a PDF. Click OK. That's fine. We just preview it because we haven't added any validity properties. Yes. Okay. So if we scroll down now, we can see that we've got an exclamation pictogram, but we've also got the environmentally hazardous pictogram, which is H411, toxic to aquatic life with long-lasting effects. So it's this one here, which is EHC2. Okay, whereas if we have a look at our supplier safety data sheet, okay, we can see that theirs is 412, okay, and it's EHC3. Okay, so we can see that ours is triggering the environmental pictogram, but it doesn't appear on the supplier safety data sheet. And we know we've added the exact concentration amounts for all the other raw materials except fixolide, and we added this at the top banded range. So really we need to reduce the concentration amount of the raw material so it doesn't trigger the environmental pictogram and overclassify our mixture. Okay, so their safety data sheet displays EHC3. Okay, and our safety data sheet displays EHC2. So what we need to do is go into Formpak to modify the raw material composition. So if we navigate to Okay, put our raw material in there. And modify composition. Yes. Okay. If we have a look at the GHS poster just quickly, you can actually download this from the Support Centre of Formpak. You can see on this here it says that EHC2 actually triggers the environmental pictogram, but if we just go down slightly, it says EHC3, and you don't get the trigger of the environmental pictogram on there. Okay. So what we can do now is customize our screen because we want to reduce the concentration amount of the pixelide so it matches our supplier safety data sheet. So we're going to add some properties into our composition tab to make it a bit easier for us. So if we go into other menus and select customize screen, select the composition properties, and what we're going to do is add EHC2, okay, which is what we've got, and then EHC3, which is what our supplier's got. Okay, and if we save as default, it'll come up every time with those properties saved. Okay, so now I'll just demonstrate how it appears. So if we just calculate now and click on the down arrow for composition properties are at the bottom of the screen, it says EHC2 yes and EHC3 does not have. Okay, so it's showing there that it's too high because we want it to say EHC3 yes. So if we change the concentration amount, if we change it to 4 and then click calculate now. Okay, I'll have a look at it again. So it says EHC2, yes, still, and EHC3 does not have. So if we change it again, okay, maybe if we reduce it to 2.5, okay, so it can be just a bit of a trial and error process. Okay, so it's still too high. So if we try it again, so if we say 2.4, calculate now. Okay, so it says EHC2 does not have an EHC3 yes. So we've made it the same as our supplier. So now what we can do to have a look at the safety data sheet, we can save it and check it in. So if we save and check in, I'm just going to click OK. Default is usually no. Okay, so we need to modify this raw material because the minimum amount of information that we need to print the safety data sheet is a flash point, the recommended use, and also the properties need to be determined as well. Okay, so properties, flash point. So we'll have a look at the supplier safety data sheet. Section 9, we can see that it's 65. So if we add that in there, okay, and then just calculate it. So it calculates the Fahrenheit. Okay, and then recommended uses. So it's going to be a fragrance. Okay, and then we're going to say, yes, properties are determined. And additionally as well, we want our safety data sheet to appear as a formulation safety data sheet with a product identifier. So to add this in the composition tab, it says treat as formulation. So we're going to select yes, and then we're going to save it. So there is actually an application setting for treat as formulation. So if you do attempt to go into the composition tab and select treat as formulation and it doesn't appear on your Formpak, it's because the application setting needs to be selected, and you can do that if you go into manage application set. Okay, and then in composition development we can see that it says enable treat as formulation for complex raw materials, and you just want that to say yes and then save it. Okay, so we're going to print a safety data sheet for our item. So print a document for an item. Item is compliant safety data sheet. We're going to print an unbanded safety data sheet. Print a PDF. Okay, so ours has got the product identifier, and then if we scroll down, we've got H317, H317, H315, H317, H319, H412, and we've got the exclamation pictogram as well. So it's a match. So it matches our supplier safety data sheet. So we have a just quick look at theirs. Scroll up. Okay, so we can see H317, H315, H317, H319, H412, and then exclamation pictogram. Okay, so these are the components that we can see on the supplier safety data sheet, and these are the components that we've got listed on our safety data sheet, so they're exactly the same. Okay, so they're a good match. So the process is use the allergen certificate and add any natural complex substances, so your essential oils, print the item analysis for the allergens to determine which regulatory components are contained within the mixture, use the item analysis IFRA report to determine which IFRA substances are contained and if any additional substances need to be added, and then any remaining components can be added from the safety data sheet. So if you don't have specific concentration amounts, use the composition properties to determine the trigger levels for the hazard classification. And additionally, even if you've inputted all the raw materials at exact concentration amounts, the safety data sheet hazard classification may not be the same. And that doesn't mean it's incorrect, it just means that it's different. So as long as you've added all the information to the best of your knowledge, and the safety data sheet will be compliant regardless of classification differences, obviously within reason.